Eli, welcome to Whistle Talks.
Hey, Kayla. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
You are the master of LinkedIn. And the topic that we're going to be speaking about today is LinkedIn for founders and specifically how to build a presence on LinkedIn for your personal brand that drives revenue. Could you maybe tell us a little bit about your company called Maya?
So, my name is Eli Igra. I'm the co founder and CEO of Maya. I'm an Israeli American. I was born in the States and I moved to Israel uh, my teenage years. Prior to founding Maya with my co founder Shai, I worked in venture capital, Israeli VC called iAngels. So, I invested in early stage startups from pre seed to A. And for the last 5 years, I've been working on Maya. So Maya is a LinkedIn agency. We do everything and anything LinkedIn. Together with my team, we do this through one-on-one personal services, trainings, and done-for-you management for personal profiles and company pages. So we've done this for startups and Fortune 500s, really working with organizations and individuals, helping them to understand that LinkedIn is a centralized growth platform. So I'm excited to be here and diving into this really important topic because I think there's a lot of misconceptions which we'll dive into in this episode. Love for people to understand how they should be leveraging LinkedIn for whatever their business or personal goals are.
Could you speak a little bit about why it's very important to have your own personal LinkedIn page as opposed to just a company page?
Sure. So I wouldn't say it's one is more important than the other. I think in the end, especially in a startup world or in companies, because the majority of our clients that we're working with are on the company side. So I think it depending on the stage where we're at, there's a general consensus that everyone should be starting from at least their personal profiles, right? Especially with startups and early stage founders who maybe don't have all the capital that larger companies have. They should be leveraging their personal brand and their presence, their network, their past positions that they've been into, and then leverage it for what they're doing now. So it could be an executive, it could be a founder, and evidently LinkedIn does prefer personal profiles than company pages. Each of them have their own strengths. So I wouldn't say only go into personal profiles because we are big believers of company pages as well, but we are able to help you understand what you are trying to achieve on a business level, whether it's fundraising, whether it's hiring, whether it's talent, hiring talent, clients, being able to generate that through your personal brand, and then people want to work with people and not necessarily logos. So you're able to create a lot deeper connection through your personal profile than a company page. People may not realize is today there are over 1 billion members on LinkedIn. Only about 1
Well,
to 2% of all of that is actively posting content. So the opportunity here is huge, right? There is a lot of content. Everyone's probably thinking to themselves, what? But I'm seeing so much coming out, so much on my feed, maybe so much noise, but it's a lot of the same creators or same people that we're seeing that are filling it up. And of course, there's also the company pages and ads and sponsor that's coming into as part of our feed. But those that take action and decide to come into this very, very blue ocean and start now, knowing that it takes time. This isn't a short term play. It's something that you need to do over time, whether it's building out your profile or the content or other things that we'll dive into this episode. Uh, it's really, it, it may seem late, but it's still early. We still see it 5 years in. There's still the misconception of people thinking that it's only for job seeking, but it is a platform for career management. It is a platform that can generate opportunities and revenue. It all depends on how you're using it and what you're tying into this ecosystem, which each parts of it, from the personal profile, the company page. And of course, if we're talking about a company level and founders, there's also activating the employees themselves.
could you share some examples with us of founders that have a really great LinkedIn presence that have led them to be successful in their business, whether it's growth, success in hiring, funding, customer or client
Sure.
acquisition?
So I think in general, it's important for founders to remember that once you're visible on LinkedIn, you're able to attract investors, right? Worked in VC, I saw what investors were looking at. We're pulling out a pitch deck. We're looking at the founders. We want to understand what their background is, what they've done, and there's really a lot that can be learned about the company and about the individuals. So there's the investors, there's clients, and there's the top talent. And really, we also have a lot of data on LinkedIn itself. There's 61 million senior level executives on there. More than 50% of B2B buyers use LinkedIn, right? Gartner has a
Oh,
report
wow.
out recently where 80% of social interactions between buyer and sellers are moving to be online by 2025. We're already in 2025, so I guess that's already the 80% is supposed to be now. Let's say it happens in 26, maybe 27. There is a clear
Yes,
shift of being coming onto LinkedIn. I think we've also seen there was a big shift in 2024, and I think it'll continue into 25 of founder-led growth, right, and driving these opportunities and revenue. So you asked for an example. He's not one of our clients, but I'm a proud Israeli to see him doing incredible work. Gal Aga, he's a co-founder and CEO of Aligned. It's a sales enablement tool. And he
yes,
talks about it openly, what he's been able to do through his profile. I think 8 months to a year. So again, a long time. This isn't overnight, but is able to, I think, a few weeks ago, 65% of the leads generated to his early stage startup that recently just successfully raised $8 million, 65% is generated through LinkedIn, through his personal
wow,
profile, through his company page, through other channels that they're doing on LinkedIn. But this is all from, I think he's posting 2 to 3 posts a week. He does say he spends 6 to 7 hours a week, just thinking about the content. So yes, there is work that needs to go into it. It's the
yes,
posting, it's commenting, it's nurturing, it's following up with people. That's what we're here for. So if anyone feels that they need help with that, there are people that can
yes,
help you with it. But it is something we call it, Kayla, ROL, the return on LinkedIn, right? So finance, we know ROI, the return on investment. The
of
time, the
course.
money, the resources that you put into LinkedIn will be ROL positive. Over time, there will be that compounding effect through all of these different actions that can be done that be able to build a strong presence for you to achieve your goals and opportunities. Another example besides Gal as well is there's actually another startup, a founder that I was speaking to, and he was getting ready for a funding round. So I told him, post from your personal profiles, post from a company page, get some comments, get some people, generating some engagement. And after several months of doing that, a US based investor, right? He's an Israeli founder, US based investor, saw these comments, saw the company, reached out to him, said, I'm flying over, I want to meet, let's talk about it. And I think 48 hours later, they already had it agreed that he was going to lead the round for 6 million. So really these things, there are lots of success stories. It doesn't have to only be for fundraising. There's also for partnerships, for clients. It's not only from you don't have to only be a CEO. You can also, do it from whether it's sales, right? SDR or account
Of course.
executives, everyone is able to take it from his edge and what they're able to generate from there as well.
You've obviously worked with founders that haven't been active on LinkedIn before. Um, does Maya kind of help them start their page and gain a following and help them with the types of content to post? And obviously, you guys do a lot of the scheduling, the nurturing, and that kind of stuff. Um, and could you maybe speak about what some people's misconceptions were about the platform of LinkedIn?
Sure, it's a great question. I really think and each time I'm not surprised, but I'm still a little bit surprised that
Yes,
today people, doesn't matter who I'm speaking to, it could be second time founders or very seasoned CEOs who say, I'm not looking for a job. Why do I need to be on LinkedIn? And it's really getting that
exactly.
perspective shift to get them to understand that LinkedIn is an opportunity generator, not just lead generation, because I think sometimes people have the misconception also around
Yes,
leads and sales and transactions. No, there's opportunities, relationships that can be built off of that. I mean, 80% of B2B leads are generated from LinkedIn, not from being consistent, having a presence. It's also, I think there's a misconception that you need to be an influencer, you need to have a full-time job and be on LinkedIn all day. No, there are ways to manage it as well and systemize it to where, especially understanding we work with very busy founders and executives.
Of course.
having a system and how to manage it, whether it's because we've worked with executives to where we support them and they do them themselves, and we've worked with executives as well to where we manage the entire process. We're interviewing them, we're writing the content, we're doing the engagement, we're doing the analytics, really, and the whole strategy behind it. But in the end, as long as someone understands that he needs to start building out his personal profile, hopefully from himself, then getting to the company page and ideally activating his employees, that can be a really, really strong organization. I was trying to think about something recently of, how it can get people to maybe think about the steps of what they need to do. So PACER, position, amplify, activate, convert, and then repeat, right? So
Okay.
position, it's all about profile and brand clarity. Before we talked about posting and commenting and really making those next steps, you want to make sure that your profile is optimized, that your profile tells the right story and has the right messages. Because even if you're not active to generate that inbound and you're going to be doing outbound, then you want to make sure that that it looks good, that you have the right impression. In the end, it's the lifeblood of everything that we need to do. So, very first and foremost, go to your profile, make sure that you have a cover, that you have a headline, that it talks about who you help, how you help them, that you have the relevant keywords, right? There's the algorithm side that LinkedIn is scanning for and showing you to relevant people, and there's also the contextual side of people that are reading your headline and reading your profile and understanding how you can help them. You have the about, you have the featured section, so you really want to use all the parts of your profile, so that you're able to get the message across. From there, it's amplifying your presence. So this is now already starting to make sure that you are seen. So to create a LinkedIn presence, we have two sides of it. We have posting content and we have commenting. Posting content can be seen as generating a conversation, and commenting can be seen as joining a conversation. So I understand that not necessarily tomorrow everyone is going to start posting, and that's fine. There's a lot that can be done, and you can still generate opportunities or revenue without content. Content will accelerate it, content will help give the trust, the credibility, and authority, but you can still generate opportunities through comments, which is on your ICPs, on partners, on colleagues, just making sure that you're seen. Again, there's a bunch of different strategies that we could dive to on comments itself. And
Yeah.
then DMs as well. Should you decide to DMs, which is already in the next phases in activate and converting. So that's an amplifying, making sure that we get seen. From amplifying, it's activating. You want to now activate all the people that you have within your network and to grow your network. So you need to mindfully grow your network 15 to 20 people a day. This isn't something that you should be connecting to automations, which are against the terms and services of LinkedIn. You should be sitting there connecting with people who are relevant, who are within your ICP, who are active on LinkedIn, who can see what you're doing, and then commenting on then think about it. Think about the power that we have of taking maybe a cold prospect and then commenting on his content. If he responds, he or she responds, he now sees your name, sees your face. You had a conversation. That's now less cold, more warm, to where then if you reach out in the DMs, they're more receptive into having these conversations, right? So then that's already from activate, and now we want to go to convert. So once you've done all of those steps, and once you're starting those conversations in DMs, which you should be starting conversations in DMs, you should be starting conversations with people who view your profile, who engage with your content, likes or comments. And if you don't have those signals because you haven't been doing any of those steps to get those, then you should be finding people within your ICP and trying cold outreach. Again, everything that we mentioned before will only improve your conversion and the efficiency of the outbound, but you can generate opportunities when doing it correctly. And this isn't doing a pitch slap. I don't have to tell you guys being the sales pros, but this isn't doing a pitch slap. This is starting the
Yes,
conversation. This is having a compliment. We could probably do an entire episode on how to manage LinkedIn DMs. And I think you had a previous episode
we
on it
did,
with
and it
Thomas.
was such a success. It was amazing.
Now, and if we're also looking at the efficacy between cold outreach on LinkedIn or cold outreach on emails, I think there's a
Mm,
lot more that can be done on LinkedIn, because when you reach out to someone on LinkedIn, they can at least click on your profile easily, go and see who you are, and hopefully read your content and say, this is someone that I want to respond to. When they get that email, it's that black or white, depending if you're on dark mode, right? It's just that piece of text that you have in your email, and it's like, ah, another spam, another automated thing, and it's a lot harder, I think, through email. So we've spoken about position, we've spoken about amplify, activate, and then convert, and the last one is repeat, which is, it sounds simple, but keeping that momentum and not giving up. Again, this isn't going to happen overnight. Even if you
yeah,
say, you know what, after this episode, I'm going to do everything that Eli says, you may get low engagement. You may not get
of
many
course.
likes or comments. Those vanity metrics are secondary. Keep on pushing through, be consistent, keep on showing up. And remember this stat, Kayla, which I think is super important and gives me a lot of comfort. Around 81% of uh, members on LinkedIn of the audience are considered silent lurkers, meaning they're scrolling. Think about yourself when you're scrolling through LinkedIn, how many posts you're maybe reading and getting value from, but you're not leaving a like or a comment because you don't know what to say, you don't have time, you don't want to, or whatever else could have come up. That's very legitimate. So there are
Always.
81% that are like that, but that doesn't mean that you didn't see it or that you didn't get value. So showing
Exactly.
up, and there's many, many examples of people who talk about clients who end up of closing with them and they've never liked or commented one of their posts, but they've read it and they've reached out on DMs. So I think that for myself gives a lot of comfort, and hopefully people thinking here will remember sticking through it for months. I would say, it's going to take at least 3, 4 months, also depending on the amount
Yes.
of posts. And of course, the content, the quality in itself, make sure that you're putting out valuable content. And from there, you should be able to push it through the pipeline and generate those opportunities that you want all the way through revenue.
If a founder only has 10 to 15 minutes a day for LinkedIn, what's the best way that they can utilize the platform?
You need to have content, right? So I would say start with batch writing or finding whatever system works with you to
Yes.
get the content out. So maybe it's taking several weekends or several days or several slots to start thinking about the ideas and writing out the posts, but you want to make sure that you have enough to be consistent and to not maybe miss a beat and say, okay, well, I'm going to stop now. So I think that's one thing that could help. I would have in part of your cadence is reaching out to people, 15 to 20 people a day. Again, doing more than that can flag your account and get LinkedIn to restrict it or to ban you for
Good.
maybe them thinking that you're using automation. So it's about 100 a week to 200 a week, depending on what your acceptance rate is. I would comment on posts, whether it's engaging back to people who are engaging on your content or engaging on other accounts, whether it's similar accounts to you, potential client accounts, current client accounts. We have to remember that through all of these people, even if them directly are an account, are not an account that I want, maybe through them, there are other
Yes.
people. Meaning, if I comment on someone who maybe gets more engagement than I am today, there are other people who will be able to see my comment. And we're not talking about great or insightful. We're talking about power
Mm.
comments, these mini posts that show, my expertise, that show a perspective, that get the conversation flowing to where someone can say, hey, this looks interesting. Let me click on Eli and come to his profile. We have to remember, if anyone comes to our profile, that's not by accident. He either saw a
Exactly.
comment, saw a post, found us in a search. So we really want to do all of these actions that keep us visible. So commenting, having the DMs, just being on the platform. And I think if we have several slots, maybe it's a 15-minute slot in the morning and another slot in the afternoon, everyone can find something that works for him. but it's being on LinkedIn. So it could be 15 minutes, it could be an hour. It also depends on what they're trying to generate, right? Can you
Yes.
generate, $1 million revenue in 15 minutes? I don't know, right? You have to see what works for you and how you do it and what your goals are trying to. But I think taking a step each day, it doesn't have to be all at once, right? Start with your
Of course.
profile, work on that, start thinking about what you want to talk about, who you want to talk about. So you have your personal stories, you have your industry specific, you have research and trends, and then you have personal opinions and thought leadership. There's a lot of different styles that you can think about what you want to talk about, and then from there start writing and hopefully sharing it with everyone.
Being consistent, that's something that keeps on coming up.
You can find us. We're on LinkedIn. I'm not on other social media platforms. I'm all in
Oh
on LinkedIn.
wow,
Me, my co-founder, my
that's
entire team are
great.
dedicated to LinkedIn. Yeah, I actually stopped the other social platforms on a personal level several years ago. So personally and professionally, you can find me on LinkedIn. Our website is teammaya.com. We have our LinkedIn page, Maya Digital, and really
Yes.
feel free to reach out with any questions. And we'd be happy to support any founders or organizations with anything on LinkedIn. Thank you for having me, Kayla. I've really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope we get to do it again soon.